Oh, I'm back in the saddle with getting sober again. Oof. How do I look? A year older? Do I look a year older, everybody? Okay, welcome back. It's been a long time. This is Getting Sober, again. Maybe I'll actually put that on the screen this time. So welcome back. It's been a year or so. I'm Jay. I'm the host of this particular channel. If you want to follow my other projects, I have another channel that I've been working on and I will be working on here coming up starting November 1st of 2020. I'll put the link right there so you can follow me there. This particular channel, as you already know, is more so dedicated to getting sober. And then, getting sober again and again and again and whatever. So shout out to all of you that have been leaving me comments, and I've been trying my best to get back to you. But overall, people have been very supportive. A couple people in general. One person comes to mind, Huggy Drabbits. So shout out to you for commenting on multiple of my videos. And sorry I wasn't there to be supportive over the last year, but I think we all were coping with whatever was going on in our personal lives. And so how about 2020, huh? It's been, I don't know. Some people say it's a shit show. Some people say that they've never had a better year. Things are definitely different. I personally like the fact that the bars have been closing earlier. I live in the great state of Ohio and in the Cleveland area. And our bars have been closing at like 10 o'clock. And why do I know that? Well, I've been drinking. But so you probably have also. You've probably also been drinking. And if you haven't, comment below. Like, I've been sober this whole time, Jay, and you've been just gallivanting around and probably with the tequila and everything else. Yeah, sorry, I have been. So, but I have news for you. I am going to commit again to No Drink November. So maybe if you want to use that as some motivation, you got a couple of days. I don't know what today is. It's October something. We're getting close to, today's Thursday and Halloween is on Saturday. So whatever the difference is on that, so you can figure it out. So we're a few days away. Sunday is 4 days away, and that is November 1st. So I'll be starting No Drink November, and hopefully nothing else November. But the main focus is no drinks, and usually everything else is pretty easy when I'm not drinking. So with that being said, hello, how have you been? Comment below. Let me know what your updates and your status has been, or if you're glad to have me back. And so I'll be making more content on this channel. So this time last year I was at like 100 subscribers. Now I'm up to like 250, and it takes 1,000 to get monetized. So if some of you wouldn't mind clicking on that subscribe link down there, then I can actually start getting paid for doing all this stuff, because this all costs a lot of money. This microphone that's right here, that's a $300 microphone. That lens that's pointing at me is a $1,500 lens. The camera that it's attached to is like $2,000. So I'm not bragging, I'm just saying all this stuff just costs money. So it would be super helpful if you were able to contribute by at least subscribing. And if you want to, you can send payment to, if you want to send a little tip or donation to my Venmo, it's just my name, JAEANDRES, Jay Andres. So enough about that, but I want to tell you, so I'm going to do the No Drink November. You're welcome to join me. And if you're definitely planning on joining me, please comment below. And then, I'll know that I'll have some allies in this particular battle, because it's like I've literally been drinking every day of the year. And, excessively. I haven't really had any problems. It's not like I landed up in jail or got a DUI or, hold on, let me knock on some wood real quick. Wood. I've been, it's been a year. It's been a very interesting year. And I'm not saying, because of COVID or whatever, that's why I was drinking. It was just a personal choice that I made, just like, you all do, and we all do. We drink for whatever reasons. Sorry, I have a lot of chapstick on. We drink for whatever reasons that we drink, and usually to cope with this time in a day. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like a day is like 48 hours long, especially when you're sober. You're just like, oh my God, what time is it now? And it's like 2:12. It's 2:12 in the afternoon. How many get? And then it's like 5, and you're just like, oh my God, I had a stressful day at work or whatever. And it's like, I don't know. I just need to go get some happy hour or do something. If you're even working, who knows if you even went to work because of COVID? Who even knows if you have a job? If you don't have a job, comment below. I'd be curious to see how COVID affected you during all this. If you were self-employed like me and ended up getting unemployment assistance, that was great. So shout out to the government with regard to that singular aspect. We also have an election coming up. I'm not sure if you know about that, but I voted already. I voted early at my board of elections. I picked a very particularly rainy day, which was a smart move on my part because there's only 12 people in line ahead of me. But every day since then, there's been like hundreds of people in line just to vote early. So do your part, vote, make sure that your person gets in office. It was a fuzzy floating around my cat. I have a cat, and anyway, who cares? So vote early, do your part, and make sure that you get your person in office. I'm not going to say any particular person is any better or worse or the right person, but if you're curious in who I voted for, you could probably guess who I'm voting for. I don't know if you want to judge a book by its cover. But I'll tell you who I would be voting for if I could is Uncle Bernie. That's right, Bernie Sanders. But I can't, so I'm not going to. And I'm not. And I didn't write that. Some friends were like, if you. I had one friend in particular who was like, if you write in Bernie Sanders again this year, I'm gonna fly from Los Angeles to Cleveland and punch you in the throat. To which I said, it'd be nice to see you again. So come on down. But I didn't write Bernie in. And I didn't write Kanye in, and I didn't vote for Jill Stein again. So I'll leave it to your imagination because I don't want this video to sound like, I'm trying to manipulate voters or whatever. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things. And right now I'm going to take a quick peek at my notes. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I have most of it memorized. But so what happened? So it's the end of October now, and a year. 13 months ago, my dad passed away. So somber note, and I think I talked about that in my last Getting Sober Again. And I wasn't sober then either. I was in Hawaii taking care of my dad. I am not Hawaiian. That's just where he lived. But everybody thought I was a local, so that was really cool. It was really cool to be in a place where I actually felt like I blended in for a change. Because normally nobody looks like this except for maybe a couple of celebrities, and people love to point out which celebrities they look like. And that's that. But I take it as a compliment. Sometimes it's annoying, but it is what it is. So my dad passed away 13 months ago, and he passed away from, he had, I always say pancreatic cancer. It wasn't pancreatic cancer. He had prostate cancer. And so, my dad, he lived life to the fullest. I think, he retired in Hawaii. Not saying that he could afford it, but that's what he did with his life. And I don't know if he smoked. He smoked before I was a kid, and then he gave it up. I never saw him smoke cigarettes ever in front of me during all of my years of existence. But when he was in Hawaii, I'm not sure if he smoked. But I know he was drinking, and he drank heavily. And but I mean, he was always fun drunk, except for when he wasn't, right? We're always fun until we're not, until we're puking in garbage cans or getting kicked out of concerts or, sleeping in the backseat of our own car. In a Wendy's parking lot, or whatever you do when you get drunk. But I don't know. My dad, he drank a lot. He drank I had to say, if I had to guess, he probably drank like 2 bottles of wine a day. So, I mean, it's definitely excessive. It seems excessive. It sounds excessive. I think one subscriber to this channel said that they drank something like an 18-pack a day. And actually, I had a friend, super productive guy, sharp as a tack, wonderful gentleman. You could never really even tell he was drunk. It was just kind of like it'd be late at night, and we were ordering White Castle crave cases, and they'd know him because he'd always tip the guy at the drive-through window. So they'd be like, "Oh, yo, what's up, Dave?" And and they'd hook him up. But so everybody has their personal habits. But he was drinking like 18 beers a day. He always drink like Miller High Life. And I remember when he moved out of his apartment, he had a closet. No joke. Not a huge closet, but like a small standard like hallway closet. He had a hallway closet full of Miller High Life 24 packs. I think they come in 24 packs, the cans. And it was from front to back, from bottom all the way to the top, completely full with the empty cans in them. And I'm not like bashing him. I love the dude. He's a brand new father, and he's, I don't know how much he drinks, but he still has the same dog, and life is good. He's still a highly functioning member of society, which is not to say that alcoholics can't be highly functional. They have a phrase for that called functional alcoholics. And, you might be one. I think I am one for sure. And then so my dad passed away, and I wanted to use that as motivation. I kind of had it in the back of my mind that his death day was September 5th. And I thought to myself, like, well, maybe in honor of my dad, I would stop drinking at that point. But COVID was still going on. So now I am using it as an excuse. And I was hanging out in bars a lot because I've been playing a lot of pool, a lot of billiards, right? And I've been taking that pretty seriously as my kind of like go-to hobby, and watching a lot of YouTube tutorials and reading actual books on it. And I have some local old timers and APA players that have been teaching me how to play. So that was was one of the main things I've been doing during COVID. I've basically been doing that nonstop every day since I think our bars opened back up in like June, and again it's October now. So June, July, August, September, October, going on November. So basically 5 months every day I've been spending in a bar. Which again, I understand. COVID, you're not supposed to be going out. I wear a mask all the time. Not everybody does, but I've been doing my part as much as I can. Pool is a pretty social distancing thing. We're pretty much we're far away from each other when we're playing. I wear the mask. My opponents play. They wear the masks. I take all my supplements, my vitamin D, things like that. And with regard to that, my friend of mine, who is young Jamie Vernon, who runs the Joe Rogan podcast, he just recently got, if you follow that podcast at all, he recently just got COVID. And he got it, and he bounced back from it in a day. And that happened to me also. In March, I was exposed to somebody, and then sure enough, just a couple days later, on I think like March 17th, I had the symptoms, which was I was tired going up to it. Like I was just unreasonably tired. I remember I was at my ex's apartment, and I went there, and I was just like, very uncharacteristic of me. When I hang out with people, I want to make the most of my time. I want to have a memorable experience. But I remember just like, I went to sleep on our couch. I just laid down on our couch and fell asleep. And then I got up, and then I went to our bed, and then I went back to sleep. I went to sleep in our bed, and I just slept for the whole night. And then that was it. And then so that week, I was like really drained. And then I think I was kind of overworking myself anyway. And then I got the symptoms, which were, I thought I had like a nasal congestion. It was like a pain kind of in my left nasal cavity, and then into the back of my throat. Like when I would swallow, I'd feel like this pain. And then that morning when I woke up with those pains, I had aches. I had like body aches in my shins. And then in the afternoon, my legs also, all my legs were achy. And then by that night, my whole body was aching. And then I had a slight fever, like 99.6 or 99.8, something like that. And then the next morning, I had no more body aches. I went to bed early that day because I felt like shit. And then I woke up without the aches, still had the nasal thing, and then went about my day. And then the next day, I didn't have it anymore. And then this happened to my ex and her 2 kids. And it happened to my mother also. We all had the same symptoms, the nasal thing, some body aches, slight fever, and then we kicked it. But I've been a big advocate for taking a ton of vitamin D, which is very important. My advice to you, you should be taking vitamin D every day. And this is just part of my daily vitamin routine. I get the little droppers. So I go to Whole Foods, and a little dropper, it's liquid. It's liquid vitamin D, and they come in a couple different flavors. I take the citrus one. And in that dropper, you get 900 servings of vitamin D, and that's like 1,000 IBUs, 1,000 IBUs per drop. So I take at least five drops a day with my other multivitamins. So I take like a Alive Men's Health gummies. Those are delicious. Sometimes I just eat those for a snack. And then I take some vitamin C gummies also. And then I take calcium. And then I take fish oil. And then at night, I'll take melatonin to just stay asleep because I have an active brain. I don't know if you can tell from like how I talk, but my brain goes even faster. And then so I take melatonin before bed, and then I take magnesium also before bed. But I'll probably be incorporating milk thistle back into my diet. I talked about that previously. That'll help to cleanse the liver. But I'll give more tips as the sobriety challenge goes on for the month of November, the supplements that I'm taking, and I'll go more into depth into what I take and why I take them, because I think in a previous episode, somebody commented that I wasn't very, maybe factual or scientific, but I'm not a scientist, and I didn't prep as well. I was just trying to give some just general advice, The whole point of this channel is just to try to give some inspiration and motivate you to maybe do better and make healthier decisions, whether or not you do. I mean, just be a dope ass person. Whatever you do, just be dope. Don't hurt anybody. But also too, you count as somebody that shouldn't get hurt. So if you make decisions and they're hurting you, then you should maybe consider making some changes. But I am not coaching you. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just making a suggestion as your friend, as your internet friend. If you're in Cleveland, Ohio, you can maybe link up with me. Also, too, you could give me a shout out, and then we could do, if you have any healthy. There's a lot of holistic and natural groups out here that I'm affiliated with, and then a lot of self-employed people like myself, aka Cleveland Hustles. It's kind of our tagline. But then where was I? My dad passed away, and then I wanted to use that as motivation to be sober, to try to make better decisions, right? So I guess the goal from generation to generation is you want to do better than the generation before you, and the goal for the generation before you is to try to help and maybe make sure that you can be better than them, and or have more than them, or whatever. But ultimately, it's up to us what we do and the decisions that we make. Everything is temporary, right? Everything comes to an end. So no matter what, you're gonna die. I hate to say it. I hate to see you go, but it's fun while it lasts, right? One of my favorite quotes was from Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy, and when I think she found out that she had cancer, she said to the doctor, "Well, why did I do all those sit-ups?" And it's kind of true. And I mean, I'm not trying to say hey, do a shot to that. But I mean, again, it's your choice, it's your life, and I've been definitely making my own choices and my own decisions over the last year or so. When I was doing the last year's No Drink November, I mostly made it through it. I didn't get through all of it, so cat's out of the bag on that one. And but I'm gonna commit to it this month. I definitely need it. I'm just at the point now, where I drink, and you might relate, but when I drink, it's just kind of like I don't even really get buzzed anymore. It's like, oh, I'm just wasting all this money. But then I just go straight to I drink, and then I go straight to no, I need Wendy's. Or whatever. There's a burger place that serves grass-fed burgers next door, and really good Philly cheesesteaks. And so yeah, I mean, do what you got to do. But it's gotten to that point for me. So it's that's not even really that fun anymore. It's just kind of expensive, and that's a thing. I mean, that's valid. It's expensive, right? And then you started thinking about well, what can I do to curb that? It's well, drink beforehand, or bring a flask with you. And that has been a thing, both of those things. So I definitely want to save some money, and hopefully I will motivate you to do good and to do well, to do better, and hopefully I can feed off of your energy because you want to do better for yourself. And who knows, the world may be in peril in just a few days. So November 1st is on Sunday, November 2nd is on Monday, and we always vote on Tuesday, so November 3rd is on Tuesday, and it is Thursday now. So in just a few short days, there could be looting, there could be rioting, there could be protest. I think they're going to be some anyway, either way. I'm not a hugely political person, but I definitely have been at some Black Lives Matter protests, and You know, it's you can say like all if you can say all lives matter if you want to, but you're gonna sound like an asshole. And I get the point of saying that all lives matter. I understand that. But when you say all lives matter and you don't put any emphasis on the people that feel neglected in this country, like Native Americans for that instance, African Americans, people of African descent, Black Americans that don't identify with coming from Africa specifically, Asian Americans, Latinx. There's a whole bunch of people that don't feel like they belong in this country right now, and there's a whole group of people that feel like you should either love it or leave it and go back to your country or whatever it is. I've actually had somebody told me to go back to my country. I'm like, what country does it sound like I'm from? I mean, I may look like I'm from somewhere else, but if you were talking to me on the telephone, I guarantee you wouldn't tell me to go back to another country. So that's that. But anyway, this isn't a political post, and I'm not a political guy. Just a little bit more information about me. So let's see. Okay, so I've been, I still exercise, I still try to make healthy decisions, I still eat really healthy. I mean, I eat basically the same thing every day. I eat brown rice and lentils and Brussels sprouts, onions, mushrooms, organic eggs, things like that. I mean, you can argue maybe that's not healthy, but like it's as opposed to fast food. So yeah, I'm like maybe eating fast food at night or whatever. But I still exercise. I actually just got back from the gym. I like to typically I'll record whatever podcasts for this channel or the other channel. I usually do it after the gym because I feel like the most stimulated and energetic, which is also why I talk a little bit fast. But so I'm still doing that, still making healthy decisions. Over the last year, I had my long-term relationship ended. I mean, technically it ended last year, but we try to kind of rekindle things over the last year. So that's kind of like been mudding up my 2020 on top of, not being able to do what I want to do work-wise or career-wise. But that was also the motivation for me to restart this channel again and start my other channel, which again, if I forgot to put the link up earlier, the link will be right there. And then so that actually brings me to a point. So, if you want to get sober, again, one thing that you might need to do is I talked about in the previous episodes is you gotta find some replacements. So exercising is really good for me. It's, when you have your goals, at least in mind, you start to see some progress along with it. Maybe the first week kind of always sucks of like getting back to the gym, the first like couple weeks, and then you start to see the progress, and you're just like, oh, you can actually start getting momentum, the muscle starts building up, you start feeling like stronger, you feel better, you're getting less sore at the gym, you're finding out better ways to work out and be healthy and make healthier decisions. This podcast was definitely a way for me to hold myself accountable, at least for a short period of time. It was really only 2 months when I made most of those videos. When I was totally sober, and then completely sort of upended my life. And you gotta laugh about it. If you can't laugh about it, if you can't laugh about things, it's gonna be a miserable existence, I think, for you in the long run. But so starting this podcast gave me something to do. And then now I'm starting the other podcast. So if you're curious about what the other podcast is, it's the same exact setup as this, but it's in color, and I talk about a wide variety of topics like, what celebrities I look like, or psychedelics, my experience with psychedelics, or going to therapy, and why maybe I'm not in therapy anymore. But yeah, there's a wide range of topics that are not related to being sober. I'm not saying that you can't do those things sober, but it's from a different perspective. So I don't want to dump all that information on this particular channel, because I wanted to kind of keep this focused on this particular struggle, which is getting sober, again, and then again, and then again, and then again. So here we are. And I also have a lot of people with cancer in my life right now, so I'm trying to use that as motivation also to make the better decisions, the healthier decisions. And so I have like 5 people. My great aunt passed away. She had basal cell carcinoma on the tip of her nose for like 20 years, and then they cut some off, and they cut more off, and they cut more off every year. They kept cutting some more off, and grafting some skin from her ear and from her neck and other places. And eventually, when she died in February, like her whole face, eyeballs, and everything were just gone. She was laying in bed, and she finally passed away. And that was that was pretty heartbreaking, you know. And I didn't even get to say the things that I wanted to say to her before she passed away. You know, you think about when somebody passes away, all the things that you want to say and the chance that you want to have to be able to express some of the I love yous and the thank you fors and good memories. And I didn't really even get to do that. I remember the last time I saw her, I said, I'll be back next week. And I totally intended to come back the next week, and she ended up passing away that night. And then a couple months ago, another very close friend of the family to my mom, total gentleman, this guy passed away. He ended up going out to Korea to spend time with his family, and then he told my mom he had cancer, and then he messaged her just a few times, and then my mom got word from his daughter that he passed away. And then currently I have 5 other people that have cancer. So it's pretty ridiculous, and it's pretty sad. And I think the cancer rate, like, I can't go over statistics right now because I didn't gear up for that. But I think that they say something like I think it's like it was like 1 out of 100 people got cancer, I think, at the turn of the century. And maybe a 1 in 1,000. I'm not really sure. I'll put whatever the answer is. I'll put that up here. And now I think they say, like, in our lifetimes, I think like 1 out of every 2 people are going to get cancer in our lifetimes. And if that's incorrect, I'll put the correct answer right here. But so, yeah, I think about those things. There have definitely been some days over the past year where, you know, I've felt my heart pounding through my chest from self-sabotage, and I've not felt good. And I put myself in a position from alcohol or substances that I've wondered if I was going to die. And thankfully I haven't, because now I can sit here and talk to you about it. And this is sort of my form of therapy, right? And hopefully this is therapy enough for you. Hopefully you're still listening at whatever mark of this video it is. But so I wanted to talk about that as well. And also this year I got to go to Yellowstone for the first time. So that was also something wholesome and holistic that I did. Went camping in Yellowstone. I actually went to with a friend of mine. She picked me up. She was generous enough to come pick me up. And we drove from Cleveland. I drove us from Cleveland to Iowa. And then we went down to the Badlands, which if you haven't checked it out, highly suggest it. And then we went from the Badlands to Yellowstone, and we camped out there. So we did 2 nights, I think, in the Badlands, or 1 night in the Badlands, something like that. And then 1 night in Iowa, 1 night in the Badlands, and I think we did 3 nights, 4 days in Yellowstone. And it was awesome. We saw wolves, we saw bear. I saw a family of bears, and their bear and cubs were like, I don't know, distance 250 feet away from me. Could have been dangerous, but they were highly preoccupied, and there were a bunch of other tourists there. I got to see Old Faithful, and I got the sulfur water raining down on me. Got awesome pictures and videos. If you want to see any of my pictures and videos, check me out on Instagram. My studio page is J Andres Studios. I'll put a link maybe below, or maybe I'll put it on the screen right here, how you spell it. And then what else? Well, that I used that trip as a launch for sobriety, and I was sober the whole time. It's like, you know, if you're in a road trip, I just went cold turkey. I wasn't smoking, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't doing anything else. I didn't bring any psychedelics or anything with me. I think I did. I think I brought 2 tabs of acid with me, but I didn't use them. And I think I gave them away. So I did that. It was awesome. Just being in nature is like, what else do you need? You get the fresh smell of the pine trees. And what else? There was sage, just bushels and bushels of sage everywhere. I didn't even know what it was when I was driving. It was just like whatever desert bush. And then when I got up close to it, was actually all over a campsite, like where our tent was to go to the bathroom. There was a little path through these bushes, and I looked and I'm like, is that sage? It was everywhere. So I brought a bunch of sage home with me. So that could be a thing for you if you have the opportunity to go on a road trip. You know, I know it's COVID and all that stuff. I'm not saying like to hop on a plane, you know, to go to like O'Hare or JFK or anything like that, or fly down into like Miami International, but maybe a self-contained, isolated road trip, and just get far away from the people that are enabling you to make toxic decisions. You know, if you don't have as much willpower as, like, I don't have a whole a lot of willpower. I will say that. You know, I'm great with cats. My willpower, not so good. And so I'm a little nervous about the No Drink November, being honest with you. But I've got a couple of days, and I've already done this before, if you've seen any of my journey before. So I'll start prepping for it this weekend. And I'll start decreasing my intake, so to speak. And I'm not promising I'm not drinking or anything until then. And I'm also not going to go like crazy over the top. Like, I'm not going to say like, well, I only got a few days till I get married to sobriety. So, you know, we're not going to go like binging, you know, out of control. But I'll probably have a couple of cocktails. And I mean, we'll see. And then I'll gear myself up mentally once I have committed to it and made this video and published it and put it online. And hopefully you'll all be checking on me. And then I'll be checking back with you and commenting below, and you'll have a day 1 update, maybe a day 3 update. But that's all for now for this episode. Thanks again for subscribing. And if you haven't, hit the notification bell. So when you check your notifications at the top, you'll see a little blue dot next to my icon. And you'll know that there are new episodes that you should check out. So goodbye for now.